What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Village Cricketers. And today we're going to analyze the second ODI between India and South Africa. And we have a very special guest all the way from South Africa, but currently residing in the UK.
Yeah,
Welcome,
living in
Jason.
England. Thanks, Ravi. Thanks for having me on today. Yeah, obviously from South Africa, but live in England, reside in England, and yeah, obviously would have met Ravi here.
You don't
Good mate
support
of mine.
England, do you?
No, no, I don't think you support them, do you?
No. But yeah, straight off, Jason, you must be pretty pleased sealing off the series so far, 2-0. It's usually people like India like to be in the game till the last game. They like to be in the series till the last game. So polishing us off in 2 games must be pretty happy.
Yeah, I was happy. Well, I am happy, should I say? I thought that India was came a bit short with how many runs they could have got. At one stage, they were cruising. I thought this was going to be well over 300, and with the record chases there, I think the highest record chase was about 230. So I wasn't too confident in the beginning. But the openers came in for South Africa and just kind of took the game away from India. I mean, going at a runner ball for the first 20 to 25 overs is generally gonna put you in a winning position.
Mm.
Yeah, no, I'm happy with how the top five has been playing this ODI series, to be honest with you. Everyone has kind of put their hand up. It's nice to see Yanaman Milan getting more runs again and De Kock getting back in the runs. But yeah, as I was saying, I think India came a bit short in a couple aspects. I feel like some of the batsmen threw away some of their wickets, the likes of Kohli and a couple of other guys. But yeah, definitely a lot to dive into.
Yeah, man. I thought at the start, the pitch itself, I felt was actually a lot. It was better to bat on at the start than it was in the first game when South Africa had to bat on, which seemed a bit slow. And even this was a bit slow. But I just felt India got off to a good start with the openers. I think they put on 60 odd in about 11, 12 overs, which was good. I know there's criticism of Rahul batting a bit too slowly, especially at the start. But you know what? He laid a foundation. But I think that classic India is we lose wickets in clusters. One brings two always. As soon as Dhawan got out, Kohli got out, and yeah, not the greatest shot. I don't think he was there for that shot. He didn't really get to the pitch of the ball, and he tried to scoop it over. I think it was Bavuma who caught it. So yeah, immediate from there, I think India a bit on the back foot once they lose 2 in a row. Then after KL and Rahul put on a partnership, I was pretty hopeful that we're going to get at least 300. Even at the start, before we lost the first 2 wickets, I thought 300 is minimum on this pitch because anything below that you're most likely to chase. But yeah, I'm sure you felt pretty good once that partnership between Rahul and Pant was finished, because then we lost a few cluster wickets after that.
Yeah, I think so. I think the key was getting Pant out. He's one of those players, I've said to you a few times, he reminds me a lot of De Kock in the sense that, if the more they stay in, the more they're just going to tear the team apart they're playing against, because they're just naturally attacking players. And, I was obviously texting you whilst the game was on saying that, we need to get Pant out at some point, because if he went on to get 100, 120, 130, you guys would have been well above the 300 mark. But yeah, like you said, just losing the wickets at key moments, I think was the issue with the India not getting to the 300 mark. To be fair, there was a couple of chances that South Africa should have taken early. The likes of, I think, was Rahul was dropped by Milan, I think, when he was not on much. Yeah, and at the time in normal play, I suppose it looked like it was quite a tough chance, but in slow motion it looked like it potentially should have been taken. And then
it went
obviously
pretty quickly, but yeah,
it did go. But you could argue you could have got 2 hands to it, but in all fairness, I wouldn't have caught that. So but the run out, I think, was definitely that was a chance for us to really put the pressure on there. That would have been actually Pant. I think it was Pant that would have been run out had we got that.
And it was. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, no, sorry, I was just saying, that would have been like a really key moment for us. But to be fair, we kind of did take our chances afterwards. And yeah, obviously the target that we were set wasn't enough in terms of India setting it on the board. So I can't really complain too much. But yeah, I think in terms of the fielding and a bit of the bowling, I think we could sharpen up a little bit.
Yeah, I think that run out was a complete, well, missed chance run out was a complete comedy of errors. I don't know what, I don't know who to blame, Rahul or Pant, both. In that, I think I texted you at the time, dumb and dumber for both teams, like South
Yeah,
Africa. I don't know
exactly.
how they missed that, especially Maharaj didn't actually collect it, and then I think it was Pektawayo. Sorry, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of that. When he could have easily thrown it in, and then he somehow threw it back above his, way behind him, and he fell down. And then at that point,
Village
Rahul,
cricket.
complete village, and Rahul's running the opposite direction, and I don't know how we didn't get run out, but yeah, it was a dumb moment there.
Yeah.
I think, and you were texting me at the start with this new guy, Magala, who in the end picked up a wicket, went for 8 and over. I know this guy's a big unit. He seemed very, very thick. And
This is the optimal word.
one of those, like, I think he might be a player like Shardul in the sense that going forward, that when he first comes on, people laugh at him, or he's not good enough, maybe, but then he somehow will figure out a game where he becomes this bowler where you might rely on. But I don't know. Obviously, a long way to go till that. But what do you think of him?
I mean, potentially, I've seen a bit of him, at local level, where he seems, from what I've gathered, to be more of a death bowler. He's very much a bowler that gets into his rhythm, sort of thing, and then can bowl Yorkers and that sort of stuff. I think opening the bowling with him against a team like India in a second ODI, where the series is still in the balance, is very, very risky in my opinion. Obviously the T20 series has been cancelled. I would have liked to have seen him maybe get a shot then, but in my opinion, I would have stuck with the same team with Janssen opening the bowling. In a crunch match like this, because it could have gone either way. Had we had, say for example, Kohli not gone out early and he got his eye in and got it 50 or 100 or something, the result could have been very, very different. And yeah, in terms of Magala, I think he's definitely got some potential for sure. I think he is a bit old at this point. I think he's about like 31, 32.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe he could have been brought on the scene earlier. But yeah, I'm not going to sit here and bash him. I think that obviously he must be good to be playing professional level. I just think the selection of bringing him in the second ODI could have been, I would have stuck with the team that we had won the first ODI with. But he did end up getting a wicket. I wouldn't say it was the best ball. I think it was Rahul hit it to, what was it?
Yeah, it was again, Rahul was like in soft dismissals, avoidable dismissals. I think he hit it straight to mid on, but or short wicket or something like that.
Yeah,
but actually, from what I heard, is Janssen actually requested to not play because he felt a bit. He wanted some rest. He felt maybe a niggle or something like that. So I think it was something to do with that.
That makes sense. But yeah, no, just going on to what you were saying about like the Rahul, how he went out, I think that's kind of been, would just sum up the series of, the whole India South Africa series, because I feel like India, I think in all 3 test matches, I don't think there was one ball that was LBW or bowled. I think it was all caught wickets, which kind of makes me feel like, Indian batsmen have been throwing away their wickets, which is a bit uncharacteristic of some of the batsmen, because generally those are the guys that you do not want to get in, because the likes of Kohli, the likes of Rahul, all those guys, Pant, are guys that will take the game away from you. And I think there has been a few times the series where they've been a bit lackluster in terms of focusing when out in the middle, especially when they've gotten themselves in.
Yeah, definitely. Especially in the last test match, all 20 wickets were taken by being caught out, which is it's not a good thing. It means you're just playing loose shots. You're not playing. I think you're right. Lapse of concentration on those balls today as well. Top 4 all caught. I would say all avoidable as well. All of them were playing to shots. Dhawan creamed it straight to Magala in the end, caught it at the boundary, but he absolutely creamed it straight to him. Kohli, we discussed that, poor shot. Pant as well, standard. He's on 85. The 100 there was for the taking, and there was a crunch time where India should have gone on and definitely posted something over 300. Rahul as well. Like, so my opinion on Rahul is that obviously he opens in tests and T20, but I definitely think he's more suited to the middle order in ODIs because he's proven to have done better there. I know he's had less matches there, but overall he has a better average and strike rate at number 5 than he does at opening in the ODIs, and it stabilizes India's middle order. And India have enough openers that they can pluck out. Gaikwad being one of them, who I think I really want to see him play. He should be opening, and as an Indian opener, I think if you get to 50, your job after is to accelerate and get to the 100. Rahul got to 50 odd, but it didn't seem. It seemed like he wanted to anchor the whole way, and I don't want that as an Indian opener. I want you to get to your 50, and like a Rohit Sharma gets that 100, 150 in a matter of no time.
Yeah, it kind of felt like that. Like in the beginning, I mean, you guys were off to a flyer. Especially they were really sinking into Magala. I think he obviously had a bit of nerves, starting the game. But as soon as I think you mentioned in your last podcast, like Markram, who's a part-time spinner, comes on and he was going at 14 runs off the 5 overs, and then he picks up a wicket. It kind of felt like and you would think that after the openers now had the eye and they were should be cruising at this point. When the spinners come on, they should be knocking them around, going at least run a ball, a 4 every now and then. I don't, like I said, I don't know if Rahul is the answer at opener at the moment. I think he would probably be best suited in the middle order, alongside someone like Pant, because Pant, as we've said, he's a game changer. So if you can have him on one side of the crease, who's just knocking it around all the time, and Rahul, who's someone who is stable and can take that pressure off. I think that sounds like the best suited lineup in my opinion. But a question for you, Ravi, injuries aside, what would you like to see as your top 6, top 7, in terms of your batting lineup in ODIs?
Yeah, it's a good question because there's so many batsmen that you can potentially choose from. But in an ideal world, if everyone's fit, I would to be honest, there's players that I'm not going to say here that I'd still love to be in the team. Like someone like a Prithvi Shaw is someone that I'd love to see in the Indian team. But just say going more recently, for me, Rohit and Gaikwad, I want Gaikwad to have a chance because of what he's done in the domestic limited. I think he's going to be a really good player for India. I want them to open. Kohli at 3, I think he's fine, settled there. 4, so I don't like Rishabh Pant at 4 because I don't want him to be the guy in the middle knocking it about, building an innings. Today he did really well, so it might disprove what I'm saying. But generally, I'd rather him coming down at 6, where he can his aim is just one thing, just to play your game, man. You don't need to knock it about. So at number 4, I'd love. I'm a big fan of Sky Suryakumar Yadav. I'd want him there, and then probably Rahul 5, Pant 6. But it's difficult because then someone like Venkatesh Iyer or Shardul, we need 6 bowlers at the end of the day. We can't go in with 5 bowlers, so we need one who's an all-rounder, a seamer. So whether they fit in, because if Pant's at 6 and you got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, then you got 5 bowlers essentially, and that top 6 of India, none of them can bowl. So it's always a tough one for them like that, and then someone always has to make the cut. So at the risk of you're basically substituting a better batsman just to have an extra bowler because you need the bowler, which is,
it's all about the balance, isn't it?
It's all about the balance, which comes down to Shardul today again showed his batted really well. It's 40 off 38 twice, both games. He hasn't they haven't got him out. He can hit 6s, he hits boundaries, he gets the score moving. He's actually he bats better in the ODIs than he bowls. And we will move on to the South African innings in a bit. But yeah, with India, I think, like you said, it's all about balance. But I want to see them be more attacking up front and take more risks, especially like you said against Markram, things like that. Yeah, Dhawan creamed it. He got out. But there, I think, look, it's just poor execution. It's he creamed the shot. It just went straight to the fielder. So I'm not saying that the shot wasn't on. Just place it better, really, at the end of the day, right? So I don't like you when they're very tentative against these part-timers. Markram again, he had 8 overs, 1 for 34. He went at 4.25. I mean, and he took the first wicket. It's not I wasn't really happy with that at all.
Hmm.
But yeah, we can move on to South Africa's innings. So when India scored 287, I remember texting you saying, "All right, roughly evens." I knew you were a bit ahead because I think anything under 300, you probably would have easily chased. It proved to be that again, you chased this with ease. Since since the third Test match, this series has been a bit of a walk, I reckon, for you guys. Not much of a challenge so far. But yeah, man, straight off the top, De Kock fired, man. Like we're talking, I think the score was about 40 odd in the first 5 overs. So you're going at a really good rate. Yanaman Milan provided really good support. I thought in the last game we got him out early, so I thought he would get him out early again. But I think for me that first half an hour of South Africa's innings took the game away completely.
Yeah, for sure. I think like I was saying earlier, with when you have a player like De Kock, batting, and when he gets his eye in, he's just devastating, really. Like, I think from India's point of view, I think Bumrah was bowling well. I think Bhuvaneshwar was struggling to find his rhythm a lot, and I think De Kock really, took full advantage of that. I think his first over went for like 15 or something, and that immediately took the pressure off, because especially when chasing, I mean, 287, let's be honest, it's not, it seemed easy at the end of the day. South Africa got it with fair ease, but that's never an easy target to get, especially batting second. But when you can get off to a flyer like that, it just kind of takes a little bit of ease to gives a bit of ease to it, and you just feel a lot more in control. Um, and for someone like Yanaman Milan, he's in a great run of form, especially in ODIs at the moment. I mean, he's averaging, I think, like 80 or 90. So, for De Kock to come in and start scoring runs like that, Milan could just play and just get his eye in and whatnot. And you probably saw as the innings went on, he was really starting to hit the ball pretty hard. Like, I think he hit some sixes that were, very well timed and whatnot. And in terms of the South African batting in the ODIs, I'm really happy with how things are progressing at the moment. I think our top five is honestly very solid. The likes of Van der Dussen he's just a white ball cricket guru, should I say? He's just a good player when it comes to ODIs. I think obviously Markram is struggling for form a bit, but as I was saying to you earlier, it's nice. This was a great scenario for him to come in and just really just grind out some runs, because we were in cruise control the whole way. There was a brief moment when we lost. Who was it? We lost 2 wickets very quickly. I think it was De Kock, and then was it? No, it was Milan and Bavuma. Yeah, where it was a little bit of a stutter, but to have someone like Van der Dussen batting us like alongside you, for Markram, it must be like a lot of weight off his shoulders, where he can just be like, all right, let's just play my natural game. And he did. And it just made it, made the chase a lot easier. And I'm really happy with the batting performance. I think we are, in a good run of form in ODIs. Hopefully we can just keep it up going into the next series.
Yeah, I definitely think you guys are a team on the rise. I mean, I think before it was like a few months ago, it was more about you don't have confidence in your personnel. Is what I thought. You don't know these guys like Bavuma, Markram, Van der Dussen. They were in the team, but it was like, can these guys continue to do it? I think Bavuma is shown that he, even the Test series and so far, very hard man to get out, and he's scoring runs. But if we looking at the scoreboard here, all your batsmen, well, except Milan, who had a strike rate of about 84, the rest were striking out all over 90, which means they're doing things pretty easily. Like they're not struggling at all. Even Markram now ended with 37. Yeah, did his job. That was when I thought we had an outside chance. Still thought it was way out the game, but when we got those 2 wickets, we had to really put pressure on to do that, which I'm finding India struggling in this series so far to consistently their bowlers to put pressure on the South African batsmen to keep the runs down. South Africa easily are scoring ones, twos, and like the boundary when they need to. And so I think that was a big difference, that we're not able to actually put any pressure on you guys. And yeah, Van der Dussen, he scored 100 last match and 37 not out today. He looks at ease, especially against our spinners. I think he's sweeping them. He's paddling. I find the most annoying shot in the world is the paddle for me. Maybe just watching it when a spinner's bowling, especially the reverse paddle, it's a very high skill shot, but they always seem to beat the man at like short third, or it would be the short third man or the 45. They always seem to beat that guy,
Mm.
and it goes for 4. But that Van der Dussen played that very well. I know last time you said that it was a pitch for sweeping, and he's playing that really well. Sweeps, paddles, etc.
Yeah, I think it's just the modern day cricketer nowadays. It's just you have to have that in your arsenal to be able to play the reverse sweep. Like, don't ever ask me to try and do it. I'll go out every single time trying to attempt that. But yeah, for professionals, especially against spinners and whatnot, there's definitely at Burland Park, there's definitely a lot of purchase for the spinners. I think the likes of Maharaj, who doesn't really get much spin usually, was getting purchased. And I was saying to you when the game was on, Chahal, I thought bowled really, really well. He was getting loads of turn. I think there was one ball against Bavuma where it was almost going down the leg side and it just ripped, and even Punt missed it. And I think it went for 4 because of just how much purchase there was for the spinners there. So yeah, being able to do things like, paddle shots and sweeping is definitely key, because you want to get to the pitch of that spin ball, because if you allow it to, turn and whatnot, then that's when you lose wickets and whatnot. So I think, the guys like Bavuma and Van der Dussen, they seem to really understand how to play white ball cricket really well. I mean, they did play well in the Test series too, but I feel like now they're really coming into their own. I think, as you were saying, like we kind of, South Africa's team last year and the year before, we've kind of lacked identity a bit. I think if you go back to years past, we've always had this core team where we could go, we've always got this guy to rely on, the likes of AB de Villiers, the likes of Cullis or Smith or whatever. And now I think we're starting to get to the point where you look at the lineup and you go, right, any one of these guys can score 100 on the day now. And that is, it's nice to see, because I've been waiting a few years for it, to be honest with you. When I met you at cricket last year, when we were talking about our teams and whatnot, you could tell I wasn't a massive believer in the South African team, but it's good to see. I think even in the T20 World Cup last year, that was really the first time where I actually looked at them and I thought, we actually are doing all right here. Like, I think we just missed out on making it to semis. And it's good to see, from my point of view. Obviously, I'm an avid cricket fan, and South Africa being my team, it's good to see us, on the rise again.
Yeah, I mean, so much so that Miller didn't even bat. Did Miller bat in the last game?
No,
twice.
I don't think so. Right? I think he came in and he faced like 2 balls. I think he scored 2 from 2 or something. But so, yeah, I mean, it's great that number 6 isn't bad.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've only managed to get 7 wickets or something in the last 2 games against you guys, and I think it just shows that they have the. Do you know when you play the game and you not just have the confidence, but the roadmap on how to win the game is in your head, like the blueprint. And I think they have that. They know, like, okay, the openers, this is the job of the openers, and then the middle order, etc., etc. And yeah, that comes with having that identity, and the players themselves have the belief in each other, which is good. Because, I mean, your batsmen now, when that's sorted, your bowlers are generally very good. Like, you never had a shortage of seamers, good seamers, which I know Rabada's not playing this series, and you're relying on guys like, Jansen, but Magala now, but. And Peklawayo, I don't think he does an okay job. I know people criticize him, and he can. I just want to see what happened with him today. He got 1 wicket, went at 5.5 and over, so not too bad.
Scheme of things, not too bad.
Yeah. Shamsi as well. Like, so Shamsi, I like his energy. I like something about him. He's a bit in your face. He's passionate, and people might think, oh, he can be over the top. But to be honest, like when he got Pant out, he just like roared. I think he.
Oh yeah, is that when they went upstairs?
Oh, that was a Shreyas one, actually.
Yeah.
And he takes it. You can tell he's hot blooded, right? And he's always having a word with Pant, even after Pant smacked him for a couple 6s. But I like that, man. Like Shamsi, I like that attitude. Even if you're faced with someone like Pant, who this guy can hit you all over, that you still come up to him and be aggressive. What do you think of Shamsi?
Yeah, he's cool. I like Shamsi. I think it's nice to have a leg spinner in the team again. One thing with South Africa is we've never really had a good leg spinner. And I love his energy. It reminds me a lot of Tahir, where they would just, like, if they get a wicket, they just take off, and it's great. Honestly, it is great. But the best part of it all really is that we, on the field, the teams give each other a lot of lip and whatnot, but they the best part is afterwards they're still all friends, and it's just what happens on the field stays on the field. I don't know if you saw, but like after the test series they had a like a dinner or something. I think it was publicly announced that they were having a dinner with the Indian team and whatnot. I think they were celebrating. I can't remember exactly what they're celebrating, but it's just nice that there is that camaraderie between the Indian team and the South African team, which is great. So even with the likes of players like Shamsi who get all fired up and stuff, it's all in good spirits, really. And it is cool to see it, from my point of view. I think it's awesome. I really like him, and he's a good bowler. You got Pan definitely put into the sword a bit today, but I think he's ranked number one in the world for T20 or 2 at least. And I think he's an important part of the team. I think he should always be on our team sheet in the shorter formats of the game. And I really like him. I wanted to ask you though, Ravi, if you don't mind, in regards to the third ODI now. I know it's moving to Newlands, so it's about an hour down the road from Woodland Park. But what would you like to see from an Indian perspective, going into the third ODI? Because obviously you guys, you're going to want to get something from the series now. Assume you don't want to get whitewashed. So what would you like to see in terms of, I don't know if you want to change the team or change the batting order or.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, it's a dead rubber, but I don't believe it's ever a dead rubber. It's 2-1, even though we lost series, but 2-1. I'd rather have 2-1 than obviously 3-0 whitewash. But yeah, I'd definitely make some changes. I would be very annoyed if they went in the same one. Bhuvi's had 2 off days, so I would definitely change him. Whether we bring in someone like I don't know if Shami's in the squad. He might be rested, but whether we bring like a Mo Siraj or a Deepak Chahar. One of these guys, I'd like to make that change. My other mate texted me earlier saying Bhuvi's finished. He belongs in the Indian Legend series now, like for the old guys. So I don't know, maybe not, but I think Bhuvi's had a lot of injuries and maybe his time is slowly being phased out. So definitely there. And then I'd want to see some changes in the batting order for sure. Whether they change someone like it's difficult to say. I'd because it mean a whole reshuffling of everything, and I don't know if Rahul and Dhawan want to be split up, but I want to see Gaikwad in there, which I keep saying that. If not, if you don't split the openers up, then get someone like Surya Kumar Yadav or maybe an Ishan Kishan in there just to change it. The thing is, right, in the past, India's were blessed with that they're like 5 of their top order, like a few of them could always bowl something. So you could like pack your bowlers in. You wouldn't need this, seeming all-rounder for the sake of it. Like guys like Raina, Yuvraj, Sachin, Sehwag, they always used to bowl a bit of spin and take a few overs out, right? Now we don't have that. Like none of the top order can bowl at all, which means we have to pick someone like Venkatesh Iyer who has to bowl a few overs. But ideally, I want a better batsman in there. Shardul, he could be that all rounder, and then we can have more bowlers, for example. So maybe push Shardul higher. I don't know. It's just a thought. Ashwin, I think, has had a bit of a underwhelming series with the ball. Chahal bowled well today, so I don't mind keeping them in because we really don't have the other spinners. But
yeah, Ashwin's been good with the bat though. In all fairness, he's had a fairly, got some runs, I believe.
He got some runs today, yeah. Although I believe he scored 25 of 24 at the death, and especially the second last over, Ngidi was bowling, and he had 3 dots at the beginning, all trying to waft. He was trying to swing outside it was like quite wide balls, and I was like, dude, Shardul's on the other side. Just get him the single, and he can whack it. So actually, at times, at that position, I thought we could have got more runs, but look, he's not there for his batting, so I'm not overly harsh on that. But yeah, I think again, look, India's new captain. India need to find a new identity under Rahul because it's totally different under Kohli. The energy, they're all looking to him from a point where everybody looks at Kohli what to do. He handles everything to a point it was like now he's just one of the boys. And who do we look to now when Rahul's new? Is he the true leader of the team?
Yeah. I kind of get that impression now. Like, you always knew, and this is what we, kind of ties into what we were saying earlier. Like, between like India and South Africa, there's always like a lot of lip on the field and stuff, and I love it, but it just kind of feels like now that Kohli's not captain, I don't know. I wasn't watching intently to see what Kohli, what he was chirping and whatnot, but you always knew like when a wicket happened or whatever, Kohli was always the first one running down and stuff. And I don't know if maybe if because he's not captain, if that might have disappeared a bit, but
it would have, yeah, because he's kind of taking. He doesn't want to step on Rahul's toes in a way and
yeah,
be that center of attention. Also, the cameras don't focus. I miss that. Every
yes,
time the
that's
cameras
true.
are focusing on Kohli, and now it's like, oh, there's not that
Yeah,
entertainment.
yeah, and Rahul's he's very reserved, isn't he? Like
Yep.
whenever there's something happens where maybe they want to go, thinking of going upstairs to DRS or something like that. Rahul's kind of doesn't really have much emotion. He's just kind of standing there. But Kohli, if that was on the other side where Kohli's captain, he's like running up, asking questions, like can we go upstairs, sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, I don't know much about Rahul as a captain. Obviously I rate him as a fantastic player. But how old is Rahul at the moment, if you don't mind me asking?
He's probably about 28, 30, I imagine.
Okay. So I mean, he still has a few years left in him if he is the answer
He's
at
29,
captain.
yeah.
Well,
So Rohit is the new captain, but because he's injured, Rahul is the captain. But with
Okay.
tests, so I think with tests because Rahul was the vice of Kohli after Rahane was removed from vice. And now Kohli stepped down. Do they just give it to Rahul? I don't know, man. I think he has to prove. I want to give him the chance because I'm not going to judge him on 2 matches. But I think when you're blessed with someone like Kohli as captain, you can only miss him once he's gone.
It's a big change. It's a massive change.
Big.
I mean, with us when we had Graham Smith as our captain. I mean, he was a real leader for the South African side. And then after he stepped down, it was kind of jumbling about it, AB de Villiers and then Faf du Plessis and whatnot. And they're again great leaders too. But when you have that person that everyone turns to, like you were saying, like a Kohli, it's a shock to the system, isn't it? You've got like India on paper every single day. I will say this team can win a cricket match, but when I don't know if maybe the morale might be shot because of the fact that Kohli's not leading them at the moment or whatnot. It might be a bit things are just that it can't be decided or whatnot. But yeah, it just kind of feels like when you watch the game, it just feels like this almost isn't the fired up India that you expect to come and to try and whitewash us. I wouldn't have been surprised if we got whitewashed if you told me we were going to get whitewashed before the series, because India are a great side. They always are a great side.
Yeah, definitely, and I think time will tell about the energy of India's team and the identity and things like that. But yeah, I mean, no point looking in the past now. But for me, Kohli's always the captain. He always will be the captain. But you gotta move. He had to go someday, right? So I just hope that we can kind of think of it in a way that, all right, let's use what he had and not completely change how we are, but kind of use that energy, and Rahul can adapt some of that to the way he captains. But let's see, man. But cool. All right, let's move on to a bit just quickly. I think we wanted to go over the ICC Men's Team of the Year. Let's start with the Test team. So there are.
You sent it to me. Yeah, I'll bring up my phone.
I'll just read out the team. The 11 IC Men's Test Team of the Year: Dimuth Karunaratne from Sri Lanka, Rohit Sharma, Marnus Labuschagne, Joe Root, Kane Williamson, the captain, Fawad Alam, Rishabh Pant, R. Ashwin, Kyle Jamieson, Hassan Ali, and Shaheen Afridi. So 2 Indians, no South Africans.
Yeah, I can't blame that. We weren't great in Test last year, to be fair, so I'm not going to argue that point.
Not even a Rabada, was he been a bit?
Looking at some of the bowlers, I think Kyle Jamieson, he's that really tall bloke from New Zealand. Yeah, he's good. I rate him. Shaheen Afridi is again a good player, also a tall bowler. Hassan Ali, I could argue potentially there's a better. I wouldn't say Rabada should replace him, but thinking of the Australian team like Mitchell Starc, Pat Cummins, I could probably argue that they should be on the list. But in terms of the batting, I'm not too familiar with Karunaratne. I don't watch Sri Lanka as much. The only time I really watch them is when they play South Africa. But Rohit Sharma, Manas Labuschagne is how you pronounce it, not Labuschagne. Joe Root and Kane Williamson. I mean, you can't really argue about that.
Yeah.
It's a great team. Potentially Kohli in there. But
always.
He's unless the thing is that obviously a great side. But Fawad Alam, again, it's the same sort of thing like Karunaratne. Don't really follow Pakistan cricket as much, but
got a
I'm
couple
assuming
hundreds, something like that.
Has you? Okay, yeah. Well, then, yeah, you must, be justified, I suppose. But I would maybe like to see Kohli on that list.
Yeah, Cody's had a poor 2 years, to be honest. So yeah, I understand why he's not there. Out of the other Indians, yeah, that makes sense. Rishabh for me always makes it. Ashwin, yeah, he's done well. So I don't think maybe a Shami or someone like that. But I guess it's based on stats. And when I'm watching India, I'm not basing them on the stats. I'm basing on my biased lens of how good I think these guys are. So fair enough. ODI.
So what's your overall opinion of the Test team? Should I say?
As a unit, or just my opinion who deserves to be in?
Well, there's probably a few players we could argue could be in here and there, but I think as an overall, would you say you agree?
Yeah, I'd say 50-60%. So I guess that means 3 or 4 players don't get in. But yeah,
fair enough.
You can't argue with the batting mainly and a few
bowlers,
yeah. All right, and the ODI team, we've got Paul Sterling from Ireland, who's I think he got the most number of runs in the ODI calendar year. I'm not sure what teams he's playing against. I've got an Irish friend who will probably say he's played against the top teams and got runs against every best team in the world, I imagine. Then your boy Milan, Yanaman Milan, who's had a really good year. I think he's he's not in the top 10, is he now, or something in ODI?
I'm not sure. I think I don't know if there's a minimum amount of games you need to have played to be in the top 10, but I know, as I was saying earlier, he's averaging around 80, 90. He doesn't look as polished as someone like Markram, but he just seems to, when he's in, he's in. In the last game, you guys got him out fairly early, which didn't really matter at the end of the day. But you see now when he gets in that he can really be an anchor for the innings, and when he gets in, he can really hit the ball hard. But I rate Milan highly. I was speaking to my brother about his potential actually coming into the Test series, especially after the first loss to India. I thought he's in such great form in ODIs and T20s. Bring him into the Test series, but he's only 25. There's a lot to come from him. So yeah, I like him. He's a great player.
Awesome. Yeah. And then we got Babar Azam, Fakhar Zaman, and then your boy again, Rassi van der Dussen in the ODI team. He's done really well. Really impressed with him. Shakib Hassan, Bangladesh. Mushfiqur from Bangladesh. Wanindu Hasaranga, who I think is really good.
Quality.
Good spinner for Sri Lanka, leg spinner.
Quality. And he can tank the ball very far.
Yeah. I think he plays for RCB in the IPL, which Kohli has obviously seen a good eye in him. The Mr. Fizzer Rahman, Bangladesh. Again, so 3 Bangladeshis in that, which is pretty good for them. Simi Singh, the Irish all-rounder spinner, who's had a good year. And then Chamira, the Sri Lankan bowler. So I guess, good thing about that list is it's not full of superstars, so to speak. There's a lot of not obscure names of people you wouldn't maybe expect to be on there.
Yeah, I mean, fair play to see. It's nice to see, a couple Irish guys and a couple of, or 3, as a matter of fact, Bangladesh guys in there. I mean, if we're going to be super critical about it, you could probably argue there should be a couple Aussies and a couple English guys in there. But, if you're looking at stats alone, Babar Azam quality in white ball cricket, very, very good player. Fakhar Zaman also, again, those 2 are absolute game changers for the Pakistan team. And I mean, like you were saying, the likes of Paul Sterling, we wouldn't really know. I know South Africa played them and we actually lost the game to them. But I'm not too sure who Ireland were playing otherwise, whether they were tier 1, ODI teams or not. But fair play. It's nice. It's refreshing to see a team like this because it's we when you say what would the ODI of the team the ODI team of the year be, before the year you had to guess who would be on it, you wouldn't be guessing this team. Maybe a couple guys, but it's nice to see
You'd
the
think it'd be
likes
full
of
of Indians, Australians, and English.
exactly
None of them are there.
exactly. You'd probably just argue that Baba Azam and maybe Fakir Zaman should be on there, maybe Van der Dussen. But the rest of the guys, it's refreshing to see. Yeah, exactly, exactly. But no, it's. I think I like the ODI team. I think it's good.
All right, and we're going to very quickly go through the T20 team for obvious reasons. All right, Butler, Mohammed Rizwan, Babar Azam, swiftly move through. Your boy Markram, do you think he deserves to be on that 2020 team of the year?
I don't know. I haven't. I've said for a long time to you, Ravi, that I rate Markham very highly. He's got such a good technique. He's got such ability. I don't think he's in the greatest form at the moment. So to see him in the T20 team of the year is surprising for me. I wouldn't have picked him myself. But yeah, I mean, fair play. I think he might have got some runs in the T20 World Cup, which is probably the reason he's on this list. But in terms of the other South Africans, there's Miller and Shamsi, and Miller, as we know, is basically a T20 specialist. He's like a death end batsman for the ODIs, and Shamsi, who's obviously rated I think 1 or 2 in the world for T20. So it's nice to see him on the list. I think that's justified. But there's I think again names. Yeah, it is a few similar names.
So we've got Mitchell Marsh and Hazelwood, so 2 new ones in the team that weren't in the ODI team. But then again, Hasaranga, Mustafiza Rahman, and Shahin Afridi all in the T20 team and the ODI team. So pretty good for those guys, doing it both in the ODIs. Again, no Indians there. So India have been pretty poor in 2020 and ODIs, standouts, so to speak. But yeah, man, South Africa definitely on the rise. Jason, any closing thoughts?
No, not really. I mean, it just a great game again today. From a neutral point of view, I can appreciate that was a good game. It's always nice to see a big total chase down. Happy with the result from my point of view. It takes a lot of pressure off now as a South African fan. To know that the series is been tied up. Hopefully in the next game we get to see a couple of new faces, maybe some not so new faces. I know Parnell's been selected in the squad. Maybe it's the time for him to.
He's still around, is he?
He is still around. Yeah, he is still around. I was thinking, when I saw Magala on the list today, I thought, maybe give Parnell a shot.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's like Subay Hamza, who I'd like to see get a chance on Sunday, and a couple other guys.
Your boy Kyle, is he in the squad?
He is in the squad. It'll be cool to see him play. I know he's actually got a really, really good ODI record. I think he averages about 50 odd in ODIs. I know he got 100 against Australia in ODIs at Boland Park. So it'll be cool to see him.
How do you pronounce his surname? Is it Varane or Verena?
Varane. Carl Varane.
Okay.
Yeah, Carl Varane.
But he got De Kock in the way, which is
yeah, exactly. And now that De Kock's no longer in tests, you probably would argue that he should play all ODIs and T20s. But I think Van der Dussen gets a well-deserved break in the next game. Vuma is obviously new captain. I think he has to stay in. Markram struggling for form. Maybe Markram stays in again. But there's a lot I could go on about. But happy from a South African supporter point of view, and I'm really looking forward to the game on Sunday.
Awesome. Well, Jason, thanks again for your time, man. I hope you're back on Sunday, even if India win. I'm sure you'll have a lot of praise for us. And man, again, really good to have you on. So thanks everyone for watching. Obviously, if you like this video, like and subscribe. If you don't like it, dislike, feel free to do so, because it helps the engagement on YouTube. So if you don't like it, just dislike us. That's not a problem. But again, Jason, thank you so much, and I'll probably see you on Sunday, I hope.
Cool. Cheers, Ravi. Thanks for having me on, buddy.
All right, take care.
Cheers.